Did you use?
Hang on.
Yes.
Right, should be able to see now
Let's see.
because I've clicked go live.
Yes.
Right, can everyone hear now? Right, so I do apologise for the technical glitch. This is a new, totally new to us. Good. I think everyone can hear now. Thank everyone for joining, and welcome to comrades from KFA Staffordshire and also KFA Greece, KFA Turkey, and other countries. And we've called this meeting to mark the 110th anniversary of the birth of the great leader President Kim Il-sung, which is known as the Day of the Sun in the DPRK. And this is a follow-up to the meeting we held in central London last week. And I've got a number of messages to read out, but I think first we will play the song of General Kim Il-sung, and more people are joining the meeting. So I do apologise to people. It was we're running this meeting through StreamYard. I've never actually used it before. It's quite different to using Skype or Messenger. So we're going to, start again with the song of General Kim Il-sung, and I hope we don't have problems sharing the screen. Right, okay. That was the song of General Kim Il Sung, with which we started the meeting. And to say thank everyone who's present. There's a message from KFA West of England, from Alan Bollen, who is head of KFA West of England and KFA UK organisation secretary, and also editor of People's Career Today. And it reads, first, I have to apologise for not being able to attend this meeting in person. Today's meeting is on a very special occasion. It's the Day of the Sun, the 110th anniversary of the birth of the eternal President Kim Il-sung. It is the occasion to reflect on memories about his extraordinary life and the revolutionary struggles that he led. His personal qualities such as patriotism, creativity, iron will and bravery serve as a model for us. President Kim Il-sung gave for the Korean nation a socialist economic and political system, as well as strength, wisdom, power and well-being. The philosophy is known as Korea of as the Juche Idea. Korea of Juche is an Asian superpower, a majestic country of socialist power, independent, self-supporting and self-defensive. But we have to remember this miracle began from hard times, and as the blood of communist fighters from guerrillas camp and the Korean People's Army through many years of struggle, it is remarkable to remember on this special day that the victory of President Kim Il-sung is based on the revolutionary struggle of fighters and heroic soldiers. They sacrificed their lives for the Korean Revolution with the name of President Kim Il-sung in their hearts and mouths, no matter the hardship, and they even lost their lives. President Kim Il-sung played a major role in military leadership during the anti-Japanese armed struggle and during the US attack on the DPRK during the Korean War. President Kim Il-sung took leadership in the first decades of people's career to build a Korean-style socialism. Many years of leadership of President Kim Il-sung in building socialism brought historic achievements with a high speed of economic and social development. All of this and more is President Kim Il-sung's special achievement and is his legacy. Nothing compares to anything similar to other Asian countries, and this is the subject of pride for the Korean people. So the Korean people will never forget his great achievements and his life in making Juche Korea grow in strength and wealth and glory. Dear comrades, today is not an easy time when the imperialist world reactionary forces organised by the capitalist countries try to falsify the truth of the memory of great President Kim Il-sung. It is our duties and our urgent tasks to all of us united in the Korean Friendship Association to defend the truth strongly and firmly and keep the banner of Juche, the banner of Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism, a big respect and tribute. Long live eternal President Kim Il-sung. Right, and that was the message from Comrade Alan Bollen, KFA West of England. I don't know if Staffordshire KFA are here. I was going to call upon them to speak. Are you there at all, Sean? Okay, doesn't seem to be linked in. I'll call on Constantine to read out the message from KFA Greece. I'll just unmute you now. Constantine, could you unmute yourself, because it says I'm not allowed to do it.
Yes, I managed to do it. There was some noise around before. So good afternoon from me as well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. I hope other people can.
Let's see on the chat. I think they can hear.
Yes, I can hear well.
Yes, but what about the rest? Someone said, who is speaking in North Korea is very forbidden. Who is this person? We don't have any feedback from the rest of the people, if they can hear us. Me, at least. Okay. Okay, good.
Right, okay. If you'd like
Message.
to read your speech out.
I don't have an actual speech to give you, unfortunately. What I want to say, first of all, is a big thank you for everyone who is here. I might not stay in physical form like this for the whole meeting because I will have people around soon. All I have to say is that what comrade from KFA west of England said is very true, especially lately with Russian-Ukraine conflict. Okay. With this conflict, it's an opportunity for mostly the Western world to grasp the chance to go even further against the DPRK in elusive ways, actually, and seem your guest. They say that they can probably hear me twice because they can hear me through you as well. I can verify that. I can hear myself as well. You're muted. Good. So, yes, I agree with this. Today are very hard times, and taking into consideration the recent events and how the whole Western, mostly community, is going against the people who try to strive for their own liberty and their own self-sufficiency, are trying to use the current events as leverage to go even further against those people. We should stay united, as always, of course, and not pay attention to all this drivel and all this false propaganda that's being thrown at us from the capitalist nations. I have nothing more to say. I would not like to interrupt Comrade Dermot and the rest of the meeting. If we have another comrade from KFA Greece, Dimitris, can you hear? Are you still here? Also, I would like to point out that it seems like he can't hear or he's not here for the moment. I would also like to point out that, yes, he is here. Thank you for being here as well, also. If you can, and if you want to say something or give a message to the rest of the people from KFA Greece, that would be very nice. Also, my comment that I wanted to say is that recent, how today, a few days ago, the United Nations passed a vote against the Russian Federation. And of course, the DPRK stated that it's completely against the vote. The vote regarded the Russian Federation's removal from the from the Human Rights Council, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And the DPRK, of course, voted against that, which shows the DPRK's devotion to its own ideals and its own goals. It will not be jeopardized by the global community as much as it tries. Okay, greetings. Good. I would like to pass the torch to Comrade Dermot now, if he wants to continue. I don't have anything else to add for now.
Right, just unmuting. Thank you very much, Constantine from KFA Greece. It's very good to have you on this call. It's gives it an international flavour. And yeah, I mean, I'd just reply sort of quickly to a point raised. Yes, the DPRK correctly voted against Russia's exclusion from the so-called UN Human Rights Council, and earlier the DPRK voted against the UN anti-Russia resolution. So, that's because the DPRK is taking a totally anti-imperialist independent stand and is not in any way sort of condoning US imperialism or soft soaping or soft peddling on US imperialism. So it shows that the ideas of anti-imperialism and independence and Juche are very much alive in people's career. Now, I had hoped that KFA Staffordshire were going to sort of read out a speech, but they seem to have lost them while we had a lot of technical problems with this. So I'm going to read out my speech, which actually read out last week at the real life meeting. So one or two people perhaps might be hearing this for the second time. Today we are here to celebrate the 110th anniversary of the birth of President Kim Il-sung, the father of modern Korea, indeed the creator and inspirer of the miracle that is Juche Korea, a country that abolished taxation back in 1974 and yet has free healthcare, free education and virtually free housing. Juche Korea is also a state that closed its borders for more than 2 years and yet survives when others wouldn't last beyond a few days. We could speak for hours and hours, if not days, about the achievements and life of President Kim Il-sung. My own life in President Kim Il-sung, people's career, and the Juche Idea began in the 1980s. I read vaguely about President Kim Il-sung and his independent policy, even when I was a teenager. But of course, the sources were very hostile ones, which greatly slandered President Kim Il-sung. I thought the idea of independence in the socialist camp was a good one, but I could not pursue my interests at the time for a number of reasons. However, by the mid-80s, I had decided to find out more about people's career, Juche, and the great leader, President Kim Il-sung. In 1985, I was lucky enough to come across a copy of Kim Il-sung Works, Volume 5, and Korean Review, 1974. Reading these, I came to know in more detail about the achievements of people's career, as well as the revolutionary activities and exploits of the great leader President Kim Il-sung, and about the Juche Idea. Of course, it was only the beginning. On the way home on the train, I read the books with a great deal of enthusiasm and excitement. The books were like fresh, clear spring water, satiating my thirst for knowledge about the DPRK and refreshing my mind. For the first time, I read about the Juche Idea, reading several speeches from the 1960s. I was greatly impressed by the militant stand of President Kim Il-sung against US imperialism. I read how the DPRK abolished taxation in 1974 and at the same time cut prices. I read about how housing was virtually free and utility bills were very low. I also read about the amazing economic growth of the DPRK and the Chilima movement. In the late 1950s, the DPRK's economic growth actually topped 36%. Yes, comrades, 36%. Probably the highest rate of growth in the world. A flat was constructed in only 14 minutes, and workers at the then Kingston Steel Complex doubled production in a year. I would add that the famous Cambridge economist Professor Joan V. Robinson called the DPRK the Korean economic miracle. And, I would refer people to read her essay about her visit to the DPRK in 1964, which is in the famous journal Monthly Review. I think, unfortunately, you may have to pay to read that article. It may not be available freely. Anyway, to get back to my speech, I soon realised that the man behind the miracle of Juche Korea was none other than President Kim Il-sung. President Kim Il-sung was the greatest of great leaders. He led the anti-imperialist national liberation struggle of the Korean people against Japanese imperialism and won independence of the Korean people. They became masters of their own destiny. President Kim Il-sung authored the Juche Idea, the acme of all progressive ideas of humanity. President Kim Il-sung founded the Democratic People's Republic of Korea in 1948, which became known as the homeland of Juche and is known to the world as a durable and invincible socialist state centered upon the popular masses. Also, he founded the Workers' Party of Korea, the Supreme General Staff of the Korean Revolution, the organizer and guide of the Korean people. And he founded the Korean People's Army in 1948, which stands guard over the achievements of Juche-based socialism. President Kim Il-sung, it was President Kim Il-sung who led the struggle to build a new people's Korea on the ruins of Japanese colonialism after independence in 1945. He also led the reconstruction of the country after the devastation caused by the US imperialists in the 1950 to 1953 Fatherland Liberation War, and also led the battle for socialist industrialization. Throughout his life, President Kim Il-sung was a tireless fighter for global independence. He fought to uphold the revolutionary principles and opposed the revisionist backsliding in the international communist movement. President Kim Il-sung was a true internationalist who sent internationalist assistance to many lands of the world, including Cuba, Egypt, Vietnam, and other countries. In 1945, President Kim Il-sung dispatched some of his best fighters and commanders to assist the Chinese people and the Communist Party of China in their war against the reactionary KMT, feudalism and landlordism. And he didn't just send military aid. Under his guidance, President Kim Il-sung sent DPRK agricultural experts to Africa, and agricultural institutes bearing his name were established in the Revolutionary People's Republic of Guinea and Tanzania. And I'd just like to sort of give a bit more detail about the internationalist assistance of the DPRK to Cuba, Egypt and Vietnam. In Cuba, in fact, in 1962, a certain big power left Cuba in the lurch, pulled out the missiles under pressure from the USA. the DPRK actually sent a KPA general to be ambassador to Cuba, and the DPRK embassy staff in Havana armed themselves ready to fight, and DPRK students staying in Cuba also armed themselves ready to fight against the American imperialists, and the DPRK sent material aid to Cuba. And similarly with Vietnam, a squadron of KPA Air Force pilots was sent to Vietnam, as well as anti-aircraft guns and uniforms were sent to Vietnam. And if you're lucky enough to visit the DPRK, which I'm sure all of you will do one day, if you go to the Fatherland Liberation War Museum, you will see a special gallery devoted to the KPA pilots who fought in Vietnam. And, and also a KPA squadron was sent to Egypt in 1973, in the 1973 war. President Kim Il-sung was indeed a giant of the international communist movement and its elder statesmen, and he met many leaders such as Che Guevara, Fidel Castro, Mao Zedong, Zhou Enlai, Stalin, Brezhnev, and many others. And it was Che Guevara who actually said that the DPRK was the socialist country that he admired most. And what always impressed me about President Kim Il-sung was he established an advanced socialist country centred upon the popular masses, where they do not have taxation, where they have free education, free healthcare, virtually free housing, low-cost public transport, and low-cost food. I think these are great achievements, and this is today continued by respected Marshal Kim Jong-un. President Kim Il-sung had declared that the people are my God, and he worshipped them absolutely, and he made sure that the people were put first in everything. And today, and when President Kim Il-sung led the DPRK, there is neither unemployment or homelessness or anyone begging. Therefore, on the occasion of the 100th and 10th anniversary of the birth of the great leader President Kim Il-sung, the British group for the study of the Juche Idea and KFA UK remember President Kim Il-sung as a great leader who built an independent socialist country and a people's paradise in the land of the morning calm. The ideas and exploits of President Kim Il-sung will shine forever. Glory to the memory of the great leader President Kim Il-sung. Long live Juche, long live self-reliance, long live respected Marshal Kim Jong-un. Eternal glory to People's Korea. Thank you for listening. Let's reply to that. Okay. Right. Okay, so I don't know if we've got any of the other guest speakers in who are going to speak. I think what we do for a bit is we show a film, and I'm going to show a short film about President Kim Il-sung, which just sets out his achievements. Let's put share screen.
The Korean people hold the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, the founder and builder of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, in high esteem as their father. Korea is a state of a homogeneous nation with more than 5,000-year-long history. Until the beginning of the last century, it was a backward feudal state governed by a monarch. In 1905, the Japanese imperialists occupied Korea and forced colonial slavery upon the Koreans. They made desperate efforts to exterminate the Korean nation, depriving the Koreans of their spoken and written language, and even their surnames and names. In the rigorous days when the destiny of Korea was at stake, the great leader Kim Il-sung waged an armed struggle against the Japanese imperialists and liberated Korea. People praised him as liberator and the brilliant son of democratic Korea. In the liberated country, Kim Il-sung enforced a new politics for the people to realize the centuries-old desire of peasants and built a new country where the people became masters. After the foundation of the DPRK, the country of the people, the Korean people enjoyed a genuine life as the masters of the country, masters of the sovereignty. Reflecting the will and demand of the people in politics, the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il built Korea into people's paradise, where the people said the socialist politics was enforced. and their leadership brought up the people as creators of the new times and enabled Korea to shine as the country of Cholima, the home of Juche. Their lives were those of field guidance to provide the people with greater happiness. The motto of Kim Il-sung was, "People are my God." Kim Il-sung wrote a new history of the DPRK with his love for the people, and the people held him in high esteem as the father of Socialist Korea and the eternal president of the DPRK. Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il were always together on the road for the well-being of the people. Kim Jong-il enforced the politics of love for the people, following in the footsteps of Kim Il-sung. In grim trials, Kim Jong-il defended and held higher the red flag of socialism with his trust in and love for the people. He never forced much of super intensity for the people throughout his life. He said his life is boiled down to the words of devotion for the people. The historic change of dignified Korea from a country of colonial slaves to a country of independent people was the fortune of Korea, which was made possible under leadership of the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, the fathers who regarded the people as their God. The future of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea will be brighter, thanks to the respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, endowed with the love for the people.
Right, thank you for your attention, for listening to that film. Hope everyone could see it and hear it properly. Very nice film, and we'll probably show another a longer film at the end for people who want to stick around. Now, what I'm going to do now is got just reading the greetings on the live chat, and say thank everybody who's sort of sending in greetings here. KFA also thanks you for those. KFA UK thanks you for those greetings, and we extend our greetings to you. Now I'm going to originally, Staffordshire KFA was going to speak today, but there seemed to have been technical difficulties. So I've actually got this speech that he was going to actually read out, which is quite long, but this also gives you a flavour of what it's actually like to visit the DPRK for the Day of the Sun. And I myself, I've been in the DPRK on the Day of the Sun on a number of occasions, in April 2012, and also in April 2016 and April 2017 and April 2019. And when I visited in 2012, there was a huge incredible number of delegations there. Several different DPRK organisations invited people. I went at the invitation of the Korean Association of Social Scientists. There was about over 300 people in that event, which was the World Juche Congress. The Korean Committee for Cultural Relations also invited a lot of people as well, and they had a big event. And there was also a Pyongyang Marathon, and by no means least, there was the April Spring Friendship Festival, which drew artists from all over the world. Quite a lot of different countries, and we had a delegation from the Juche Idea Study Group to the World Juche Congress. There were two of us there. There was also a delegation from a political party in Britain as well. There's a couple of... I'll just say one thing quickly. I'll respond to the questions in the chat at the after I've read out this speech. I will answer your questions, but I'll just read out this. I'm going to just read out parts of it. And this was written by a member of the delegation in 2012 who travelled with me. And he says, without any exaggeration, I would say that the high point of my 2012 trip was being present at the military parade on Kim Il-sung Square. I have in the past watched DPRK military parades on DVD and on YouTube, but nothing could have prepared me for this spectacular event. I was lucky to have a grandstand view of the march past by the Korean People's Army and the Worker Peasant Red Guards. And just to explain that last bit to people, Worker Peasant Red Guards are a civilian militia type body in the DPRK that is part of the DPRK self-defensive policy. At 10 a.m, the parade started with the flags of the immortal president and the eternal general secretary being carried aloft on two limousines. Marching past the tribune in absolute order were columns representing the fighters from the periods of the anti-Japanese armed struggle and the Fatherland Liberation War, or the Korean War. I was informed that there were columns from the Kim Il-sung Military University, the Kim Il-sung Political University, the Seoul Ryukyong-su 105th Tank Division, and other Korean People's Army divisions and institutes, demonstrating that the defence of the Korean Revolution is the duty of the working masses. The Worker Peasant Red Guards and the Young Red Guards went past the podium. The Worker Peasant Red Guards are a voluntary militia force made up of the working class peasantry and intelligentsia of the DPRK. It was reassuring to see that the working class of Korea was truly armed and ready to fully uphold the revolutionary gains of Juche-based socialism. The second half of the parade consisted of armoured columns. Kim Il-sung Square was shaken by the weight of tanks and armoured vehicles, viewing the missiles of various types, particularly the intercontinental ballistic missiles, was an extremely awesome sight indeed. The Korean Revolution, which began with two pistols, has, due to the Songun political leadership, now possesses state-of-the-art weaponry such as nuclear weapons and other and precision-guided missiles. US imperialism's bellicose behaviour will no longer work with the DPRK. The Korean People's Army has both the means and will to deliver devastating blows to the centres of aggression and oppression on the planet if the DPRK is attacked by the imperialists. Two novel features of the parade were the cavalry section, with the horse riders dressed in winter combat uniforms. The other aspect of the parade was special, was the three MiG-29s of the Korean People's Air Force performing daring manoeuvres over Kim Il-sung Square. The KPA aircraft feats over the skies of Pyongyang on the morning of April 15th were on par with the professionalism of the famous British aerobatic display team, the Red Arrows, and in many ways exceeded their UK counterparts in their ability. Like a bolt from the blue, Kim Jong-un was there at the military parade, gave a speech to mark the Day of the Sun. The moment Kim Jong-un spoke to the assembled guests and participants, his voice displayed a great deal of maturity and strength. Kim Jong-un stated in his April 15th speech, "The military and technical superiority is no longer a monopoly of the imperialists, and gone are the days when the enemies could threaten and blackmail the DPRK with atom bombs." End of quote. The supreme leader of the DPRK stressed, "The final victory of the Korean Revolution lies in advancing straight along the road of independence, the road of Songun, and the path of socialism indicated by Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il." The April 15th speech of Marshal Kim Jong-un was the ultimate tribute to the exploits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. When the parade was over, Kim Jong-un came over to the spectators. There was a flurry of immense excitement when the leader came to the balcony of the reviewing platform and waved in the direction of the direction of the foreign guests were standing. I would say it was very much pinnacle of my visit of the DPRK was to have seen Marshal Kim Jong-un so close up. Marshal Kim Jong-un carried himself with so much grace and dignity. I always remember the sparkling smile of Marshal Kim Jong-un. It was like the midday sun. Kim Jong-un comes across as a leader very much in touch with the aspirations of the Korean people. Comrade Kim Jong-un is constantly delivering on-the-spot guidance to various sectors up and down the DPRK. During my visit, I saw him 4 times at different state celebrations. While I was in the DPRK, Kim Jong-un was elected first secretary of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea at the 4th conference of the WPK and was made first chairman of the National Defence Commission of the DPRK at the April 2012 session of the Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK. Kim Jong-un is a dynamic young leader who's defending and advancing the revolutionary legacy of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, and who will bring socialist prosperity to the DPRK. In Britain, we have fireworks displays on November 5th every year to mark Guy Fawkes Night. But on the Taedong River, on the evening of April 15th, 2012, I was thrilled to see an extravaganza beyond my imagination. The night sky of Pyongyang was turned into daylight with a massive firework display. Central Pyongyang became the backdrop to a fireworks show, which with excellently coordinated music and kaleidoscopic colourful images. The firework display on the evening of April 15th was titled "Sun's Korea Will Prosper Forever" and was a festival of sensations, particularly for the eye. And another evening function was the grand soiree of youth and students on Kim Il-sung Square. Kim Il-sung's Pyongyang's main square was transformed into a gigantic ballroom for the night. So I will stop there because it's quite a long account. You can actually read it on the internet, and You can actually also buy it in book form. I'll put the links later. I'm just going to sort of pick up on some of the questions. There were several questions here. And I'll just go back, trying to take them. Right, let's find them. I mean, yes, housing is provided by the state free of charge. I think people are asking me about a backup channel. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm sure as the number of subscribers increases, there's a danger of the channel might get taken down. So think of a backup channel. I mean, we've also got a VK.com account for KFA UK as well. So we're thinking of these things. And someone. How did you get a chance to study at Pyongyang University? Well, I actually studied through the Korean Association of Social Scientists with DPRK Social Scientists, and I defended my doctorate in front of 15 professors and assistant professors from different universities in the DPRK, including Kim Il-sung University, the University of National Economy, and quite a few other universities. And basically, I studied both through email, but also by visiting the DPRK, and I was given lectures and talks by members of the Korean Association of Social Scientists. My supervisor was Professor Kim Chang-gwon, and if you watch the film The Propaganda Game, which I think a lot of people have forgotten about it, but there's the film The Propaganda Game. I think it's free of charge on YouTube. That's about Alejandro and the KFA, and Professor Kim Chang-gwon, who was my PhD supervisor in the DPRK, appears briefly in the film. That's how I studied in the DPRK. I mean, for foreign students to study in the DPRK, there's a few places at Kim Il-sung University where they take foreign students. So I recommend people go to the website of Kim Il-sung University and look that up. Someone's asked about blockchain and cryptocurrencies. I don't know too much about that. I was not involved with the KFA blockchain conference. It's seen as a good way for the DPR to facilitate the DPRK's trade with the rest of the world. And it's a sort of point about the DPRK opening its borders again. That's probably going to be at the end of this year, possibly early next year. But we hope that the DPRK will be sort of opening up, receiving visitors, from then. And one of the followers of my Songun 007 channel as people, oh, hope those technical difficulties are not people difficulties. No, they're not. They are technical difficulties. As I think as people who were there at the beginning know, I'm doing this through StreamYard. This is the first time we use StreamYard. It's a bit of a steep learning curve. We did have quite a few difficulties at the beginning, and so lost one or two people, and I know that a couple of people in KFA UK are have had connection problems in the last few weeks, and have not been able to get in online. So yeah, it is literally technical difficulties. And what I think we do now is we're starting to run out of time. I'm going to show a film about President Kim Il-sung meeting different leaders of different countries. But if anybody, just looking at the comments there. Right, a question about US visiting the DPRK. That I cannot answer exactly. The US travel ban isn't that new. It was only since, I think, the 1990s that the US government actually allowed its people to travel to the DPRK, and we all know that back in 2017, Trump imposed a travel ban on the DPRK, which was been upheld by the new bloke, the sleepy old one, who's president of the USA. But in past, members of Sleepy USA, Black Panther Party, Workers' World Party, and I think the US Quakers all visited the DPRK, and yeah, the visas weren't stamped in the passports, they were on a separate piece of paper. So that may well be that may well be done again, but I can't answer that. I think that's something be discussed nearer the time. But yeah, that is one way of getting around the travel ban. Okay. Are there any other quick questions? And I'll try and take them before we show the film, because otherwise we're going to sort of run out of time. Right, right. There's no other questions. Right, I'll just reply to Yugoslav comrade. Yeah, Kim Il-sung University, the Faculty of Philosophy, does run courses on Marxism, Leninism, dialectical materialism, but I think that's actually for Koreans rather than foreigners. Right, okay. Well, we're now going, because what we did at the meeting last week, we used a projector and we showed the film President Kim Il-sung met heads of state. That will give you an idea of the internationalist role played by President Kim Il-sung, and that will take us to the end of the meeting. I say I may have to, just show some of the film, and then close the meeting. But what I'll do is I'll show about half an hour of the film.
Chinese party and government leaders described their meeting with Kim Il-sung as their greatest pleasure and said that no force can ever undermine the solid traditional Francophone unity of the Korean and Chinese peoples. During his stay in China, he met Samdech Norodom Sihanouk of Cambodia, who praised the Korean president for his immense contribution to the cause of independence against imperialism. In October 1970, Henry Winston, chairman of the National Committee of the Communist Party of the United States, described his meeting with Kim Il-sung as his unforgettable honor. In June 1971, Kim Il-sung received Carlos Altamirano Orrego, General Secretary of the Socialist Party of Chile, and expressed his firm solidarity with the struggle of the Chilean people. In June 1971, he greeted Nicolae Ceausescu, General Secretary of the Romanian Communist Party and President of the State Council of the Romanian Socialist Republic, and talked about upgrading bilateral ties of Francophone cooperation. In July 1971, he received Li Xiannian, Vice Premier of the State Council of the People's Republic of China, and talked with him in a cordial atmosphere. In July 1971, Samdech Norodom Sihanouk of Cambodia visited Korea again and expressed his gratitude to Kim Il-sung for his unqualified support to the struggle of the Cambodian people and for his unfailing treatment of himself as a comrade in arms and blood brother. In his meeting with Kim Il-sung, Kamara Taylor, General Secretary of the All People's Congress of Sierra Leone, said that the Korean president's revolutionary idea was extending bright rays to his far-off country, and that Korea was the beacon of hope for the developing countries. Agostinho Neto, president of the People's Liberation Movement of Angola, expressed his utmost respect for Kim Il-sung as a great leader of progressive mankind. In September 1971, Kim Il-sung welcomed Samora Moises Marcel, president of the Central Committee of the Mozambican Liberation Front, and extended solid support to the just struggle of the Mozambican people. Kim Il-sung had a cordial talk with the visiting president of the Presidential Council of the Hungarian People's Republic, Juche Idea. Mario Batista, General Secretary of the Central Committee of the People's Party of Panama, and Tanka Prasad Acharya, Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Nepal, were impressed by their meetings with the Korean leader of world renown, as their wish had been fulfilled. Minobe Ryogichi, governor of Tokyo Metropolis of Japan, was received by President Kim Il-sung. He said he had been impressed by the president's noble virtue and leadership ability in making notable contribution to national prosperity and global independence. In November 1971, Kim Il-sung visited China and met Chairman Mao Zedong and Premier Zhou Enlai. Basking in warm welcome and special hospitality, he enhanced his personal ties of friendship with the Chinese leaders. Against the background of internationalism and comradeship, his visit wrote a significant page in the annals of Korea-China friendship. In January 1972, Takaki Takeo, advisor to the editorial board of the Japanese daily Yomiuri Shimbun, met with Kim Il-sung, praised him as the pioneer of the new era of independence, and said that giving wide publicity to his great profile was the conscience of progressive journalists. In January 1972, Kim Il-sung had an amicable talk with Juan Mari Gras, General Secretary of the Socialist Party of Puerto Rico. In February, he welcomed Jose Ambrosio, General Secretary of the People's United Action Movement of Chile, and encouraged his patriotic activities. In March 1972, Chinese Premier Zhou Enlai, on his Pyongyang visit, talked with the Korean leader about upgrading friendship and cooperation between the two countries, two parties, and two peoples. This occasion gave a great fillip to bilateral friendship and the world revolution. In April 1972, Samdech Norodom Sihanouk of Cambodia came to Pyongyang to offer congratulations to Kim Il-sung on his 60th birthday, and he highly praised the president for his undying services to the Korean Revolution and the cause of independence against imperialism. In May 1972, Kim Il-sung received Mohammed Siad Barre, President of the Supreme Revolutionary Council of Somalia and President of the Somali Democratic Republic, and expressed firm support for the endeavors of the Somali people for the building of a new society. The Somali leader expressed his high regard for his Korean counterpart, saying that the Korean people were making precious examples in all spheres of social life. In June 1972, Kim Il-sung received Takeiri Yoshigatsu, chairman of the Japan Komeii Party, and said that his Korea visit would contribute to developing friendship between the two peoples. Álvaro Cunhal, General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Portugal, praised Kim Il-sung as a great leader of the world revolutionary movement and genius of mankind. In July 1972, Kim Il-sung met Abdul Fattah Ismail, General Secretary of the National Front of the People's Democratic Republic of Yemen, and gave valuable advice on boosting bilateral ties. Mohsen Al-Aini, Prime Minister of the Yemen Arab Republic, said that it was his unforgettable honor to have seen President Kim Il-sung, the idol of respect of progressive mankind. Amilcar Cabral, General Secretary of the African Independence Party of Guinea and Cape Verde Islands, presented a gift to Kim Il-sung, representing the fighting West African people. In August 1972, Kim Il-sung visited China. Chairman Mao Zedong greeted him and praised the validity and vitality of the Juche Idea authored by him. Kim Il-sung met Premier Zhou Enlai and reached a consensus of views on matters of mutual concern. Iwai Akira, President of the Joint Liaison Council for Interchange between Japanese and Korean Workers, noted that Korea, under the guidance of President Kim Il-sung, had shown a worldwide example in building a land of bliss for the workers and other sections of the people. Mainza Matias Chona, Vice President of Zambia, said he was honored to meet President Kim Il-sung, who had built a socialist country, independent in politics, self-sufficient in the economy, and self-reliant in defense, and he presented a gift to the Korean leader. meeting with President Kim Il-sung, Yasuo Ryosuke, managing editor of the Japanese political theoretical magazine Sekai, expressed his highest respect for the president, saying that his leadership had brought about a spectacular reality in Korea. Kim Il-sung gave advice to Jose Enrique Diaz, General Secretary of the Socialist Party of Uruguay, on how to take the course of independence. Among the renowned politicians and figures of the world who came to meet Kim Il-sung was Enrique Pastorino, President of the World Federation of Trade Unions. Narciso Isaconde, General Secretary of the Dominican Communist Party, extolled Kim Il-sung as the most preeminent leader of the 20th century. On his China visit in October 1972, Kim Il-sung met Premier Zhou Enlai and other party and government leaders. They expressed their best regards to him, praising his great idea and leadership and remarkable set of noble qualities. Several meetings with Santiago Carrillo, General Secretary of the Spanish Communist Party, Kim Il-sung talked about how to boost ties between the two parties. In December 1972, Lansana Beabogi, Prime Minister of Guinea, met Kim Il-sung and said that Juche Idea serves as the banner of the people in their endeavors for the building of an independent sovereign state. Ranganath Sharma, President of the State Council of the Kingdom of Nepal, noted that friendship and cooperation with the Korean people led by President Kim Il-sung was invaluable for the Nepalese people. Maria Estela Martinez, Vice Chairperson of the National Justice Movement and wife of General Perón, ex-president of Argentina, was impressed by her meeting with Kim Il-sung and said that she would keep his handwriting as a family treasure. General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Ecuador, Pedro Antonio Saad, stressed that respected President Kim Il-sung enjoyed absolute trust of progressive mankind as the most experienced leader that guided the cause of socialism to victory. Espersen, chairman of the Communist Party of Denmark, stated that his meeting with Kim Il-sung confirmed him in his belief in the inevitable victory of the cause of independence, the cause of socialism. In June 1973, Kim Il-sung received Gustav Husak, General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia. The Czechoslovak leader praised Kim Il-sung's exploits in guiding socialist construction to victory and awarded to him the supreme decoration of his country, the White Lion Order First Class with a gold chain. In June 1973, the visiting Vietnamese Prime Minister Pham Van Dong presented a gift to Kim Il-sung, saying that Korea's brilliant achievements in socialist construction were the result of his leadership. In July 1973, Samdech Norodom Sihanouk of Cambodia expressed his profound gratitude to Kim Il-sung for rendering active support so that Cambodia could achieve success in politics, military affairs, diplomacy, and all other fields. Juche, an Australian author and journalist, visited Korea again to meet Kim Il-sung and was impressed by his warm hospitality out of moral obligation and his precious advice. Egyptian Vice President Hussein El-Shafei praised Kim Il-sung as a great outstanding leader, respected by the people of the developing countries. In October 1973, Kim Il-sung met with Premier Zhou Enlai in Shenyang, China. The traditional Korea-China friendship developed further through the ceaseless meetings of the leaders of the two countries. In October 1973, Kim Il-sung met Todor Zhivkov, first secretary of the Central Committee of the Bulgarian Communist Party and president of the State Council of Bulgaria. The Bulgarian leader admired Korea's fine achievements in socialist construction, in particular in the education of the rising generations and the people under the leadership of President Kim Il-sung. Then he conferred the Georgy Dimitrov Order, the supreme decoration of his country, on his Korean counterpart. Vice President of Gambia, Camara, expressed his admiration for the revolutionary idea and leadership charisma of Kim Il-sung, saying that the Juche idea is an everlasting torchlight, illuminating the road of emancipation and prosperity for the people. In March 1974, Kim Il-sung had a historic meeting with Houari Boumediene, President of the Council of Revolution of Algeria. The Algerian leader said that all achievements made by the Korean people gave eloquent testimony to the validity of the Juche idea, and that Algerian people too would have to take the road of political independence and economic self-sufficiency. In May 1974, the visiting president Léopold Sédar Senghor of the Republic of Senegal said that under the wise leadership of Kim Il-sung, the Korean people had brought about world-amazing miracles in all fields of the revolution and construction. Staying on high, chairman of the Norwegian Socialist People's Party said that President Kim Il-sung was the author of the Juche idea, the banner of independence, and the great leader of the revolution, and he presents the gift. Genaro Caronero Checa, General Secretary of the Peru DPRK France-Ban Cultural Association, presented to Kim Il-sung his book Korea, Rice and Steel, dedicated to the President's greatness. Amarne Saarinen, chairman of the Communist Party of Finland, was convinced by his meeting with Kim Il-sung that the cause of justice of the world workers and other progressive people aspiring after independence would definitely emerge victorious. Kim Il-sung had a memorial conversation with Carlos Altamirano Orrego, General Secretary of the Socialist Party of Chile. Bencho Kubadinsky, Vice Premier of the Cabinet of Bulgaria, conveyed to Kim Il-sung the special regards of the Bulgarian head of state and the feelings of respect of the Bulgarian people. Miguel Ege Nututumu, Vice President and Minister of National Security of Equatorial Guinea, extended thanks to President Kim Il-sung for his support to the peoples of developing countries. In August 1974, Kim Il-sung met Nguyen Hu Tuo, President of the Central Committee of the South Vietnam National Front for Liberation, and congratulated him on the victory in the anti-US National Salvation Resistance. Kim Il-sung met Narita Tomomi, Chairman of the Central Executive Committee of the Socialist Party of Japan, and received a gift from him. The president gave an important advice on a number of problems, including that of developing friendship between the Workers' Party of Korea and the Socialist Party of Japan, and between the Korean and Japanese peoples.
Okay, hope everyone can hear me. Yeah, right, there we are. I'm back again. Yeah, I mean that video just shown I think give you a good idea of the internationalist record of President Kim Il-sung and why we uphold him as a great leader of the world revolution. And before and to say anyone, the rest of the film is available on YouTube. And before we go, there's a number of other DPRK anniversaries. Space does not permit me to talk about all of them, but I'm just going to talk about two of them. As say, on Monday, it's going to be the 10th anniversary of respected Marshal Kim Jong-un becoming Supreme Leader of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea when he was elected as first Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea on the 11th of April by the 4th conference of the Workers' Party of Korea, and on the 13th of April the Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK elected him as first chairman of the National Defence Commission. So basically he took the highest positions of the party in the state after previously being appointed as Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army by the Political Bureau of the Workers' Party of Korea at the end of December 2011. And this, of course, was manifestation of the trust of the Korean people for respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, as well as their profound support for him. The Western mainstream media continually like to gloss over the fact that Marshal Kim Jong-un was not appointed to the position of supreme leadership, but actually elected by the Supreme People's Assembly and by the Conference of the Workers' Party of Korea. And this omission by the mainstream media is quite deliberate. It's a deliberate attempt to slander, disparage and denigrate the nature of the socialist system of the DPRK. The Workers' Party of Korea is a party with millions of members from all walks of life. It is the organiser and guide of the Korean people. Therefore, the fact that the fourth conference of the WPK elected Marshal Kim Jong-un as first secretary of the party basically was an expression of the will of the entire Korean people to have him as their supreme leader. Previously, at the third conference of the WPK in 2010, Marshal Kim Jong-un had been elected to the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea and Vice Chairman of the Central Military Commission of the Workers' Party of Korea. Respected Marshal Kim Jong-un pledged to carry forward the work of the great leaders, President Kim Il-sung and Chairman Kim Jong-il. 10 years ago, on Kim Il-sung Square, I was there and I heard the first public speech of Marshal Kim Jong-un when he addressed the military parade. And he said that the permanent strategy of our revolution and its final victory lie in marching straight along the road of independence, the road of Songun and the road of socialism, as indicated by President Kim Il-sung and General Kim Jong-il. This was a declaration that People's Korea would follow the great road of independence, the road of Juche, that had been mapped out by the great leaders of the Korean Revolution. And I say, it was really great being there to listen to that speech. And the speech marked the beginning of the era of Marshal Kim Jong-un in People's Korea in the world. Since then, People's Korea has not looked back. Marshal Kim Jong-un has proved himself not only to be a most capable leader and a true successor to the great leaders Mountbatten, but a dynamic leader and a people's leader who puts the people's interests first and defends the interests of the people and defends the independence of the country. During the 10 years of Marshal Kim Jong-un's supreme leadership, the DPRK achieved victories on all fronts, such as the economy, military, living standards, and international affairs. Despite the extreme sanctions of the hostile forces, which have been tightened up and increased, the economy of People's Korea has continued to grow. Many new factories and enterprises have gone into operation during the past 10 years. New streets and even whole new cities have appeared. COVID-19 has claimed over 6 million lives worldwide, and whole countries have been devastated by it. But People's Korea has not had a single case of COVID-19. The DPRK shut its borders for over 2 years, but the situation is stable and normal, and the shops are well stocked. As I said earlier, some countries wouldn't even last 1 day with their borders shut. Isn't this a miracle? And under the leadership of Marshal Kim Jong-un, the DPRK crossed the nuclear finishing line, is both a H-bomb power and an ICBM power. And only few countries in the world have their own ICBMs. Britain abandoned its Blue Streak missile program in the 1970s. And recently, we saw the Hwasong-Po 17 ICBM test, which is a new type of ICBM, and that was a great success for People's Korea, a victory against US imperialism, and a great victory for Juche and self-reliance. And I felt totally mentally refreshed when I heard the news of the successful test of the Hwasong-Po 17. And, it's also worth mentioning just quickly that the DPRK's external relations were greatly expanded. Marshal Kim Jong-un held meetings with leaders of neighbouring countries such as China and Russia, and a total of 7 summits with leaders of different countries. And the DPRK has strongly defended its independence, whilst at the same time being open to negotiations with other countries, and trying to find peaceful solutions, and relax tension. But at the same time, it hasn't taken any chances. People's Korea didn't dismantle a single nuclear weapon or a single ICBM. That's a fact. So to conclude on this subject, the 10 years of Marshal Kim Jong-un's supreme leadership have been 10 years of great leadership and great victories. I'm sure that under the guidance of Supreme Leader Marshal Kim Jong-un, the Korean people, fighting in the spirit of self-reliance, will overcome all challenges and march forward to even greater victories. And no doubt with in the next few days we're going to see truly massive and spectacular celebrations in People's Korea. I think there'd be a military parade and other events, and there may well be some sort of demonstration of the DPRK's defence power. Let's wait and see. And, lastly, I've mentioned on the 25th of April, it will be the 90th anniversary of the foundation of the Korean People's Army, which was actually, founded as a guerrilla force on the 25th of April 1932. It was founded as the Anti-Japanese People's Guerrilla Army, which became the Korean People's Revolutionary Army in March 1934, and became the regular Korean People's Army on the 8th of February 1948. And it's Korean People's Army that is standing standing guard over the great achievements of Juche socialism. It has won many great victories against imperialism, firstly against Japanese imperialism. It won the armed struggle, which lasted for 15 years. And then it defeated the US imperialist aggressors in the 1950 to 1953 war. And in the period after the Fatherland Liberation War, it won victory in the different confrontations with US imperialism, such as the Pueblo incident 1968, the Panmunjom incident in 1976, just to name a few. And, in recent years, under the leadership of Marshal Kim Jong-un, it has faced down all the provocations and military pressure of US imperialism, which remains very intense. And, even in the last few weeks, the US imperialists have staged aggressive military exercises in South Korea. So we say, long live the glorious anniversary of the foundation of the Korean People's Revolutionary Army. I'm sure there's going to be a massive military parade, for that anniversary. Anyway, we're sort of, in fact, we're slightly over time. I apologise for the technical difficulties at the beginning. It's a bit of a steep learning curve using StreamYard. We got there in the end. We'll be holding more online meetings. I think this one has been a good one. A good amount of people participating. I'm sure we get more people, and we're aimed to improve the quality and the quality of these meetings, and iron out some of the technical issues that cause problems at the beginning. So thank everyone for their participation, and wish you all a good evening. I hope you'll come to the next meeting, and also support our events. We're going to be doing a picket of the BBC in May, but we're going to be continuing with online meetings, because these are really great, and they're really a great way to connect with people. So in conclusion, I say long live the 110th anniversary, the birth of the great leader President Kim Il-sung. Long live People's Korea. Long live Juche. Long live self-reliance. Long live the Workers' Party of Korea. Long live KFA. Long live the British Group for the Study of the Juche Idea. Thank you and goodbye.